Peace. Assalamu alaikum, family. This is Brother Rizza Islam. I'm here with our brother, Dr. Akili Muhammad, and he has some very interesting, heavy information for everyone to hear. So please, sir, introduce yourself, our brother.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, thank you, brother, for the opportunity and the platform. My name is Dr. Akili Muhammad, and that doctor doesn't signify just any old thing. I went to medical school in this country, Meharry Medical College. So I have the same credentials that every other MD, every doctor that you go to, emergency room, a hospital, or anything, I have the same credentials. And I'm not mentioning that as any egotistical thing. I'm mentioning that because people put value on what I went and learned and what I strove to go through to get where I am today. So when I talk about health, I'm not talking about health from the outside. I was in the system for years. Now I'm outside because I realize it's not the best thing for our people. So I discuss it from a perspective of how you can not only research what I'm saying, but you can also test what I'm saying by trying it on yourself. I'm not going to tell you anything that's going to hurt you. But we have to, as a people, stop following people that are just saying things because they heard it somewhere else, or just because they write a book doesn't necessarily mean that all the information is good.
That's right.
A lot of books are verbiage of somebody following what some other person say. They just put their personality in it. But we have to start evaluating things and then put it to the test. That means you got to research.
That's right. Yes, sir. Thank you for that, my brother. So first question is veganism. A lot of people you see now, they are jumping into the health trend. Everybody now wants to be healthy. It's fashionable to be healthy. All right. It's turned up to be healthy.
Right.
So a lot of people are switching not to vegetarian or pescatarian, eating fish, but they're going straight to veganism. Can you tell us, where did that start? Veganism, and are the benefits from veganism more beneficial, or is it more beneficial to eat raw vegetables or whatnot? So just let us know.
Well, excellent question. First, the vegan movement was initiated by a white man, and I can't recall his name right now, but he actually started the movement because he was in care of animals. He wanted not to hurt animals, and he wanted to teach that to the public as a whole. So my personal opinion, and let me take that back, because opinion is a BS word. My assessment and my evaluation is that is a horrible way to start an eating program, a lifestyle program. A lifestyle program has to be taken in consideration based on what's going to give you the nutrients, the nutrients, the substances that you need in your body in order to exist at a high efficiency manner. That's what life is about. That's what health is. Health is being able to accomplish what you need to be able to accomplish from a mental and physical perspective and a spiritual perspective, where you are not limited in your ability to achieve results.
That's right.
So, veganism is when you have a diet that's based in no animal products, and most of them believe that you don't add any heat. So let's evaluate that. From a fruit perspective, that's an excellent idea. From a vegetable perspective, that's a horrible idea, because there's something that they call anti-nutrients. And you can go on your own and research phytics, P-H-Y-T-I-C, and oxalates, O-X-A-L-A-T-E. Oxalates and phytics are substances that are in plants, vegetables mostly, that protect them from certain animals and insects. In order for us to be able to eat those type of foods, we have to apply heat to those vegetables. So I'm talking specifically things like cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, okra. Those are your good quality vegetables. You cannot eat those raw. If you eat those raw, you will not be getting out of it what you think, because of those substances I just mentioned. Now, when you look at most vegans, they do a lot of kale, they do a lot of spinach, they do a lot of greens. And the real question is, what evidence do you have that that's good for you? Because I can promise you that when you eat greens, kale, turnip greens, all these different green, so-called healthy leafy vegetables, why is your stool green the next day? Why do you see green stools over the next few days, but you don't see that with Brussels sprouts? You don't see that with broccoli. You don't see that with okra. You don't see that with other green foods that I just mentioned that are good for you. So there's a sign that you have within your own body that tells you when you're doing right and when you're doing wrong. There is no substance. Check me if I'm wrong. There's no substance that's healthy for you that goes into your body as a color and comes out that same color, and it's healthy. You eat an orange, you don't see orange doo-doo. You eat a red apple, you don't see red in your stool unless you just didn't digest some of the skin. You do not eat green Brussels sprouts, broccoli, or cabbage and see green stuff in your stools. You don't eat purple cabbage and see purple in your stool. Why? Because those colors that God put on this planet go in the body and do work. They get to working and doing things in the body. But when you eat things like greens and it comes out in your stool, that's proof to you that your body can't handle it, nor is it absorbing it. So you're wasting your money and following people that don't make sense if you really evaluate.
Wow. Okay. So that's from veganism, eating raw versus cooked. Wow. Okay. And from your perspective, there's something you mentioned as well, because our brother, our now ancestor, brother Dr. Sebi, may Allah be pleased with him.
Yes,
beautiful work and beautiful brother. Where is it, because a lot of people, it's controversial, but where is it that he received his initial knowledge from when he started his journey on health and learning about foods and vegetables? Where did he get that information from in the beginning?
Yes, sir. Excellent question. And let me first say to everybody that I'm not talking about hearsay. I ain't talking about no gossip. I'm not talking about something I read. I sat with this man side by side on a 4-hour trip, plane trip from Houston to Philadelphia the first time I met him, and we talked the entire trip. So I'm not telling you what I heard from somebody else. I'm not interpreting anything. This is what this man told me person to person. He lived in New York. His wife got sick. He left his house to go find the answers to how to help his wife. When he left his house, he said he ran into some brothers. They were in the Nation of Islam, and they told him that he needed to get How to Eat to Live. He bought How to Eat to Live, and at the same time he got that book, he was turned on to a Chinese herbalist. And so between some soup that the Chinese herbalist gave him and told him how to make, and How to Eat to Live is where Dr. Sebi got his start when it came to health. He said he studied How to Eat to Live. He said he studied it and studied it and studied it for years.
Yes, sir.
So when he saw that How to Eat to Live was helping his wife get better, he said that he wanted to research it and be able to prove what was in this book that was helping his wife. So again, these are the words that Dr. Sebi was telling me personally. And so Dr. Sebi is somebody that I greatly respect. Dr. Sebi is somebody that I learned a lot from. But my total passion and my total commitment is to this book, because as a physician, I left that world of hospitals and institutions that are just putting our people on medications and keeping them sick. I left that when this showed me that this can solve people's problems and help people cure problems. And so my assessment of what Dr. Sebi did was he left from How to Eat to Live and then went and started learning other things and then started compiling things which produced his program. He did great. This is not a detrimental talk. This is not to try to put him down. But I don't agree or go with some of the things that he taught because they go against this book, which is where he got his foundation. So this is a clarifying discussion about Dr. Sebi. I hope that nobody takes this as somebody trying to slight his name, trying to throw shade on the brother. That's not what I'm about. I don't do those type of things. I would rather not talk about him, and I'm not one to sit back and be half-cocked. If I'm going to talk about you, I'm going to talk about you. So if I had something negative to say about Dr. Sebi, I would say it. I don't. I just am clarifying for people that talk about what Dr. Sebi had as a dietary program, where he talked about certain foods that you do eat and you don't eat, and that this is where you cook this, and this is bad. If that man right there said it, from How to Eat to Live, I'm going with it 100%.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, brother. And I wanted to know here, do you have any testimony, any proof that what you are saying from this book and what you prescribe from this book and the knowledge that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gives on how to eat to live, do you have any proof, anyone that you can give as a testimony that this has helped? Any sicknesses that have been cured, any diseases that have been lifted, anything?
Wow. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Let me say this. There are probably some people out there that will take this and say, oh, that's the nation. Well, this book changed the way I practiced medicine before I became a member of the Nation of Islam.
Wow.
This book changed my life in 2003 as a physician. I was sitting across from a patient, and she fell asleep while I was talking to her. And I was cursing her ass out in my own head. I didn't do it to her, but I was cursing her behind out. 2003 is when I went home that day and read this book and started applying it to my patients. And within 2 to 3 months, I saw people curing high blood pressure, curing diabetes, high cholesterol problems gone.
2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months.
Wow.
Some of them less than that, depending on how diligent and dedicated they were to the program that I put together for them, would be how fast they get results. But that day was the day that I changed. I didn't become a member of the Nation of Islam until 2009, 6 years later. But I had seen multiple medical problems reversed before I ever became a part of the Nation of Islam. So I have seen people solve, cure, and improve every medical problem that most black people have heard of. Now, of course, I probably have heard more medical problems than you because I'm a physician. But the first one that stands out, I had a lady that friend of mine called me and told me was at the hospital. She had recently had a heart attack. The doctors at the hospital told her that there was nothing they could do. She needed to go home, sign up for hospice, and just basically prepare to die. This lady, 10 years prior to this heart attack, had a heart attack and had the surgery where they take the vessels out of her leg and put it on her heart so the blood can keep pumping to her heart. Well, that day that I met her in the hospital, I told her, leave the hospital as soon as possible and go home. I met her at her house and took a bag of groceries to her house. Cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, some tomatoes, some navy beans, some raw milk, and a few other things. And in my way, I'm not the best cook, but I taught her how to make navy bean soup. I taught her how to saute her vegetables and steam her vegetables. In 1 year, based on this book, How to Eat to Live, this lady went back to the hospital, had an angiogram done where they put the dye in your vein and look at the heart. Her heart had deteriorated all of the old blood vessels and remade blood vessels on her heart. That's called angiogenesis.
Wow.
So she produced brand new blood vessels. Her heart function had returned to as if she was fully functional 100%. And the doctors that were taking care of her, that told her they didn't do nothing for her, said it was a miracle. They had never seen anything. They had been practicing medicine for 25 to 30 years at that point. I was only practicing medicine maybe right about 10 at that time. Another example, a brother right here from Atlanta called me a few years ago, and he had been in the hospital for, I think, about 6 weeks. He had surgery, he had diabetes, he had a large wound at the bottom of his back, like right above his butt crack. And when I went to his house the first day, I was cleaning his wound with my hand all the way inside of the wound up until my wrist. So I was cleaning it like this. The doctors wanted to do a skin graft and take skin from his other parts of his leg and put there. I told him, how would you heal 2 wounds faster than you could heal 1? Put him on a program, How to Eat to Live. Went through his house, got rid of all the garbage that was in his house, threw it in the trash can. There was a sister down here that was cooking navy bean soup for him and actually preparing all of his meals. And that wound closed up in 4 months. The doctors told him that it would take a year and a half. These doctors had been practicing medicine for 20-some years. They said that they had never seen anything like that. 4 months, wound completely closed. Now, all of you have probably had something happen to your skin before. And so you know you can cut your skin and it heals, but sometimes the coloring is not normal. So the coloring of his skin wasn't back normal in 4 months, but the wound was closed and it was all skin and everything under there had healed in 4 months. I'm not telling you these stories to try to trick nobody. I ain't got nothing for sale. I'm telling you, as a doctor who's been practicing medicine for 21 years, nothing that I've read, nothing that I've experimented with, because I've done all the things. I've done the 5 meals a day. I've done all of the stuff that was supposedly healthy. Nothing compares to How to Eat to Live. And so it should interest you that I'm sitting here talking to you as a doctor that's been practicing medicine for 21 years, and you've never seen a book before that says from God in person. That's not something to just take lightly. That's something to research. What did this man know that he can put in a book, in a 2-volume series that is much smaller than all the books I read in medical school that were that thick, this big? Those are the type of books I read. This book makes more sense than all of those put together. I'm not sitting here trying to cajole anybody. This ain't no damn joke, and I ain't trying to fool nobody. But if you want good health, you need to get this book and read it. And my brother will make sure that you have my information. You got questions?
Absolutely.
He and I will make sure that we put together forums where you can ask me questions, or you can invite me to your city. Whatever we need to do to get black people thinking more independently and getting on a journey towards good health, we got to do it.
That's right.
We have a fight ahead of us.
That's right.
White supremacy is going to die when we rise.
That's right.
But the air out there is bad. The water is bad. And if you don't know what you're doing when you go in the grocery store, you don't make any good choices. But I'm here to help you make the right choices to improve your health. And that's when your thinking is going to get better. That's when you'll physically get stronger. And that's when your spirituality will be ready to take this beast on and destroy him.
That's right.
That's
Wow.
the David
Wow.
and the Goliath. We
Yes,
are
sir.
that David. And we got that faith. But we got to strengthen ourselves for what's ahead of us.
Yes, sir. Wow. And I wanted to know, last thing, brother, to mention all of that, let's just go right into, you mentioned something about Obamacare, seeing how everybody's so sick as of right now, and people want to know about health insurance. And now they're even mandating or making it mandatory that you have to get health insurance or you'll be fined for it. So in Obamacare, you mentioned something about how you read it, and I believe it's over 300 pages, the entire policy that they put together, or law. So what is it in your analysis that you can say about Obamacare, and what is really the agenda behind that? Or pardon me, let me correct. Not Obamacare, it's universal health care. Universal health care. And they just put Obama's name on it to slander the good work that he has done.
That's right.
But universal health care, what is really going on behind that?
Yes. Well, the first thing that I want to say is just that, bro. I don't, again, this is not to slight President Obama. It's not to take anything away from him. It's also not to give him anything. Because I do believe, as the minister has taught us, that that's a good black man.
That's right.
And he had good intentions.
That's right.
But ain't nobody going to sit in the spot that he sat in and don't have a whole army that's dictating to him what he's going to do. This is not a system in this country for nothing. It's a system because they plan on it continuing for a long, long time. So I'm saying that to say that I did read it. I read the whole document, other than maybe the last 3 or 4 pages. It just got to be redundant, saying a lot of the same things. And I got to a point where I said, I can pretty much predict what it's going to say in these last 3 or 4 pages. And so I stopped. But the reality of Obamacare is that it is a system by which they are using it to get money from the poor that can't afford insurances like Humana and United Healthcare and all the so-called good insurances. So they found a way to get more money out of the pockets of poor people. That's really what it is if I would condense it into a short reality.
Wow.
Now, I know some of you are saying, I'm going to get fined or I may have some consequences if I don't get it. I understand that. And you have to do what's best for your family. So that's the reality. I'm not sitting here telling you to come join the Nation of Islam and put on a bow tie like my brother and I. That's what we chose to do.
Right.
But what I'm doing is giving you information. You have to take it and apply it to your life in the best manner that you can.
That's right.
So my suggestion to people that ask me what they should do is you should get whatever the plan is that costs you the least. And then you have to start, as I said earlier, getting information that could take your life in a different direction. And then as we, as black people, start to see the reality of our unity, then we can take some of this $1.3 trillion that we're throwing away to all of these other industries and start producing our own reality, and you can start building your own wealth. And then you won't have to beg and plead and have to bow down to people's mandates because you need food stamps or you need housing or you need some health care. We have to get past that.
That's
we got to
right.
stop allowing these people to force us into vaccinations and all these other things that are murdering us. Let me just make this clear. I just lost my father this year at 89. He was murdered because these human bodies, especially you dark black-skinned people, we have been genetically improved. The trip from the motherland to the Caribbean, a lot of black people died and they were thrown over the edge of the boat. That means the strongest of them made it to the Caribbean islands. There was a process to make us into slaves on the Caribbean islands. A lot of us died. A lot of us died in slavery on this land right here. Our blood is soaking the land and the oceans. So the strongest people on the planet Earth are black people that are descendants of slaves in this country. Genetically, there's nothing more powerful than you. This is not to put anybody else down. It's the truth. So if you're a black person in America, your genes and your genetic makeup is powerful. You ain't got no high blood pressure, diabetes, and all this other crap in your genes. You just don't know how to take care of them.
Right.
So let's get to understanding how to take care of our genetic makeup correctly. And everything about us is going to get better.
That's
our
right.
thoughts, our abilities, our patience with each other, our desire to be brothers and sisters and not focus on the negatives, not focus on the differences, but focus on the commonalities. If we did that, we would destroy all these white supremacist systems in a minute. Real quick example. If we got black people to understand more about how the power they have in themselves and stop drinking, they'll be billionaires broke by 2018. If we, as black people, realize how horribly we are doing ourselves by smoking cigarettes, we would have broke billionaires by January.
That's right.
If we stop gambling because we pooled this $1.3 trillion together and used that in cooperative economics, there'd be billionaires broke by January.
That's right.
I hope y'all get the point. If we start working together, teaching our young brothers out there in the streets killing each other because they're looking for love is what it really is. Don't be afraid to go out there. They need you. Some of you black men need to get the hell up out of your damn couch watching this football and all these other sports and get out there with the brothers that you always running your mouth about. Otherwise, to cease and desist, because we out there doing the work, and we do need some brothers to come out there and help us.
That's right.
But the point that I'm making is that if we teach our brothers what we know, and we show our brothers love. I come from gang-banging territory. I grew up in Southern California. Blood and Crips is something I grew up around and gravitated to. So why would they not gravitate to it? And they don't have parents. I had parents, both of them. A lot of them don't have parents, and the parents that they do have are so focused on other things, they raising themselves. So we need to be there. But the point that I'm getting to is that we can destroy the prison industrial complex by teaching our young men what to do to stay out the system. Billionaires broke by January. Imagine that. If we as black people come together, the strongest people on the planet Earth, and our brown brothers and our red brothers are going to be right there with us.
That's right.
We will destroy white supremacy before the end of 2018. Just make up your mind.
That's right.
Praise
Family.
Allah.
I hope you took all of that information because our brother Doctor laid it out very well. And I definitely appreciate you, my brother, for all the work that you've done.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And this book, family, How to Eat to Live, have to get it. Book 1 and 2. The information that is in this set has been taken and plagiarized and used by people all over the world in their own work. So get it from the source and let us get to better health. All right, everybody, please take this information, spread it, and make sure everybody knows. Assalamu alaikum.